English. So, I think today we'll complete the chapter. Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish by Steve Jobs. Last unit 3, and the story is about death. Yeah, you are correct. It is about what? It's death. So, let's start the second paragraph. Third paragraph. Third paragraph, page number 103. This is like, what? About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. About a year ago, गोटे वर्ष पूर्वर कथा, I was diagnosed. Diagnosed means diagnosed कहले मोर जो परीक्षा करा डाक्तरी परीक्षा, हाँ, diagnosed with cancer. मोर टेस्ट जिते बेले हला कौन बाहरला? Yes, cancer बाहरला. I was diagnosed with cancer. I had a scan at 7:30 and I had a scan at 7:30. 7:30 ସକାଳ 7:30 ବେଳା in the morning ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ସ୍କାନ୍ ହେଲା, and it clearly showed a tumor in my pancreas, and it clearly showed, ସ୍ପଷ୍ଟ ଭାବରେ ଦେଖାଯାଉଥିଲା, there was a tumor in my pancreas. pancreas ପିତାଶ୍ରୟ, pancreas କହିଲେ ପିତାଶ୍ରୟ. so pancreas ରେ ମୋର କ୍ୟାନ୍ସର ହେଇଥିଲା, ଟ୍ୟୁମର ହେଇଥିଲା. I didn't even know what a pancreas was, and you don't believe, I didn't even know, ମୁଁ ଜାଣି ନଥିଲି pancreas କହିଲେ କ'ଣ, what a pancreas exactly ମୋ ପାଖରେ ଆଇଡ଼ିଆ ନଥିଲା. And the doctor told me this was almost certainly a type of cancer that is incurable. The doctor told me, doctor ମୋତେ କହିଲେ, କ'ଣ କହିଲେ? The doctor told me that this was almost certainly a type of cancer that is incurable. कहले कौन पिले? दुरारोग्य. So it was a certain type of cancer. ए भले एक कैंसर कहले कर्कट रोग पिले ए भले गोटे कैंसर थिला जोड़ा क्यूरेबल नुह, जोड़ा छाड़ब नहीं. मुझे स्पीड जीवी पिले कारण मत आज सारिवार अच्छे एट एनी कंडीशन. आउ काली यार टोटल क्वेश्चन आंसर आम डिस्कसन करवा काली क्लास रे. आउ काली दिन बेला मु ट्राई करी क्लास नवा पई टिके टाइट शेड्यूल रे मु चली एक्चुअली. आउ तार एमसीक्यू भी सारी देवी बोली भाबुची. सो let's try to complete it. That is incurable, and that I should expect to live no longer than 3 to 6 months, and that I should expect to live. ମୁଁ ଆଶା କରିବା ଦରକାର, I should expect to live, that I would not live longer than 6 months. 6 ମାସରୁ ଅଧିକ ଆଉ ମୁଁ ବଞ୍ଚିବି ନାହିଁ. ଡାକ୍ତର କହିଦେଲେ, ମିଷ୍ଟର ଟିପ୍ସ, you are not going to live more than 6 months. ତମେ ଆଉ 6 ମାସରୁ ଅଧିକ ବଞ୍ଚିବ ନାହିଁ. My doctor advised me to go home and get my affairs in order. My doctor advised me to go home. ମୋ ଡାକ୍ତର ମୋତେ ଅନୁରୋଧ କଲେ, କ'ଣ ଆଡ଼ଭାଇସ୍ କଲେ, ଉପଦେଶ ଦେଲେ, ଘରକୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ and get your affairs ready. Go and get my affairs in order. ଆପଣ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ, ଘରେ ଯାହା କାମ ଅଛି ସବୁ କାମ କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ. which is doctor's code for prepare to die, and this is the doctor code to prepare to die. ଡାକ୍ତରଙ୍କର କହିବାର ଅର୍ଥ ଥିଲା ଯେ ମରିବା ପାଇଁ ପ୍ରସ୍ତୁତ ହୁଅ. ଡାକ୍ତର କ'ଣ କହିଲେ? ମରିବା ପାଇଁ ପ୍ରସ୍ତୁତ ହୁଅ. get ready to die. Yeah, you're gonna die, you not live more than 6 months. Get your affairs in order and be mentally prepared. You're gonna die. So it means to try to tell your kids everything you thought you would have the next 10 years. Exactly. So it means to try to tell your kids, ତମେ ତମ ଛୁଆମାନଙ୍କୁ କହିଦିଅ, to try to tell your kids about what? Everything you thought you would have the next 10 years, to tell them in just a few months. Whatever your idea, whatever your arrangements about your family, your kids, ତମେ ତମ ପରିବାର ତମ ଛୁଆମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ 10 ବର୍ଷ ପାଇଁ କ'ଣ ପ୍ଲାନ୍ କରିଛ, ସେଇ ପ୍ଲାନ୍ ବିଷୟରେ କିଛି ଦିନ ମାନେ within 6 months ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ସବୁ କଥା କହିଦେବା ଦରକାର. or either it will bring them endless misery, ସେମାନେ ବହୁତ ଦୁଃଖରେ ବଞ୍ଚିବେ ନହେଲେ. So tell your kids everything you thought you would have the next 10 years to tell them in just a few months. It means your ortho. It means your ortho kon thila bile. It means to make sure everything is buttoned up. Everything is buttoned up. What do you mean by buttoned up? Buttoned up kahile kon bile? Yes, buttoned up means arranged properly. Buttoned up. Arranged properly. Everything is buttoned up. So sure kara je sabu jinso thik jagare jo jinso jemti haba kotha semti haba darkar. So that it would be easy as possible for your family. It means to say your goodbyes, and it's time to say your goodbyes. Say goodbye to your kids. Say goodbye to your friends. Say goodbye to your relatives because you are gonna die. मरिबा ପାଇଁ ଯାଉଛ ମାନସିକ ଭାବେ ପ୍ରସ୍ତୁତ ହୁଅ ତମ ଛୁଆମାନଙ୍କୁ କୁହ ଆଉ ତମ ପରିବାର ଲୋକଙ୍କୁ ବି କୁହ I lived with that diagnosis all day and I lived with that diagnosis all day ମୁଁ ଦିନ ସାରା ସେଇ ପରୀକ୍ଷାର ରିଜଲ୍ଟ ସେଇ ଫଳାଫଳ ଯେଉଁ ଡାକ୍ତର ଯାହା କହିଥିଲେ ସେଇ କଥାକୁ ନେଇକି ବଞ୍ଚିଲି I had no other option. ମୋ ପାଖରେ ଆଉ କିଛି option ନଥିଲା. So then what happened? I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, ସେଇଦିନ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ବେଳେ, later that evening, I had a biopsy. What do you mean by biopsy? Biopsy କହିଲେ କ'ଣ ପିଲେ? Biopsy is a kind of test. It's a kind of medical test. ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରକାର ଡାକ୍ତରୀ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ବାୟୋପ୍ସି and in which जो biopsy कहले actually ସେଥିରେ କ'ଣ କରାଯାଏ in which where they stuck an endoscope down my throat. They stuck an endoscope down my throat. मोर गला देखी मो शरीर भितरକୁ ଗୋଟେ endoscope machine entry କରାଗଲା down my throat through my stomach. ମୋ stomach ଭିତରକୁ ଦେଇକି ସେଇଟା ଗଲା କୋଉଟା that endoscope and into my intestine तापरे से मो stomach through the intestine को गला yes or no so into my intestine put a needle into my pancreas. What did they do then? They put a needle into my pancreas. Mo pancreas pitastra bhitar ko gote needle pasai diya gala. They put a needle into my pancreas and got a few cells from the tumor. से ट्यूमर ରୁ କିଛି ସେଲ୍ ଅଣା ହେଲା ସେ ନିଡଲ୍ ଭିତରେ କିଛିଟା ସେଲ୍ ଆସିଥିବ so that cell to be tested ସେଇ ସେଲ୍ କୁ ଟେଷ୍ଟ କରିବାର ଅଛି ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ and I was sedated exactly sedated 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 means unconscious sedated means unconscious sedated means what guys unconscious मते माने unconscious करा जाइथिला मु होश रे नथिली ऑपरेशन करा बेले काहा को कोन होश रे करा जाय कि होश ताको माने एनेस्थेसिया दिया जाय okay and but my wife who was there जे कि सेटे थिला my wife was there told me that when they viewed that cell under a microscope sei koshika cell कहले कोशो से कोशोटा को जते बेले माइक्रोस्कोप रे से माने देखिले डॉक्टर जते बेले देखिले when they viewed that cell under the microscope the doctor started crying doctor कांदिबा आरंभ कर देले the doctor started crying the doctor yes कांदी पके एटा खुशीर माने लुह थिला सेटा started crying because it turned out to be a very rare form pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. The reason was what was the reason then? The reason was it was very simple. What is the reason? That it turned out कले resulted माने फल बाहरिला ताको टेस्ट कला परे रिपोर्ट आसिला जोना पड़िला turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer এটা গোটে মানে বিরল কর্কট রোগ নর্মালি প্যানক্রিয়ারে যাহা ক্যান্সর हुए মଣିষ মরি যায় সে প্যানক্রিয়াটিক ক্যান্সর হলে কিন্তু এইটা গোটে বিরল প্রজাতির রোগ ଥିଲା ক্যান্সর দ্যাট ইজ ক্ୟୁରେবଲ୍ ୱିଥ୍ ସର୍ଜରୀ ଯେଉଁଟାକି ସର୍ଜରୀ କଲା ପରେ କ୍ୟୁର୍ ହେଇପାରିବ and the doctor had for the first time in medical history it was being invented. That's why he cried, started crying. I had the surgery and I'm fine now. Thereafter surgery was done, more operation la अस्त्रोपचार hela, बर्तमान मु भलो अछि. Who is telling this? किए कहउछम ते कथा? Steve Jobs. These were the closest I've been to facing death, and these were the closest I've been to facing death. ମୁଁ ଅତି ନିକଟରୁ ମୃତ୍ୟୁକୁ ଦେଖିଥିଲି ସେ ସମୟରେ ଅତି ନିକଟରୁ ମୃତ୍ୟୁକୁ ଅନୁଭବ କରିଥିଲି These were the closest I've been facing death. And I hope it is the closest I get for a few more decades. And I hope, Asa Guruji, and it is the closest I get for a few more decades. ଆଉ କିଛି ଦଶନ୍ଧି ପାଇଁ 30-40 ବର୍ଷ ପାଇଁ ମୋତେ ଆଉ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ବି ପଡ଼ିବ ନାହିଁ Having lived through it, এই ଭଳିଆ ପରିସ୍ଥିତିରେ ବଞ୍ଚିବା ଦ୍ୱାରା ମୃତ୍ୟୁକୁ ବହୁତ ପାଖରୁ ଦେଖିବା ଦ୍ୱାରା କ'ଣ ହେଲା ପିଲେ I can now say this to you. Karan, I'm telling you whatever thing had happened with me. I'm telling my experience. I'm sharing the things that had already happened with me. I can now say this to you with a bit more certainly. Mu kahi paribi confirm mane certainly. That when death was a useful but purely intellectual concept, death was a useful and purely intellectual concept. Intellectual means what? ज्ञानी माने चलाक लोक माने मृत्यु को माने गोटे कनसेप्ट हिसाब रे नियंती गोटे विषय वस्तु भाविक नियंती तांकर पथ प्रदर्शक भाव रे मृत्यु को ग्रहण करते इट इज एन इंटेलेक्चुअल कनसेप्ट बड़ बड़ लोक माने भलो लोक माने मृत्यु को नेगेटिवली केबे नियंती नहीं पॉजिटिवली नियंती ताको and death is exactly not a negative word. It has lots of positivity inside it if you'll observe it near yourself. So no one wants to die. No one wants to die. किए मरिबा पई चाहे नहीं. Yes or no? No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. Look at the sentence. Even people who want to go to heaven, जो माने स्वर्ग को जीवा पे चाहते, they don't want to die to go there. ସେମାନେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ମଲା ପରେ ସ୍ୱର୍ଗକୁ ଯିବେ ଜିଅନ୍ତା ତ କିଏ ଯାଇପାରିବେ ନା still they don't want to die. ତଥାପି ସେମାନେ ମରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହାନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ ମଲା ପରେ ସ୍ୱର୍ଗକୁ ଯିବେ କିନ୍ତୁ ମରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହାନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ କିଏ ବି ମରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହାନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ don't want to die to get there and yet death is the destination of all share. And death is the destination we all share. तमे जीव मु जीवी तमे मु भी मरिबी तम भी मरिबा समस्ते मरिबा गोटे दिन yes or no सेटा होची डेस्टिनेशन हम समस्ते सेठी के जीवा we are human being that means we are born to die yes or no we all share no one has ever escaped रक्षा पाइबा escaped कहले कोन रक्षा पाइबा yeah exactly रक्षा पाइबा so no one has ever escaped it किए भी रक्षा पाइ नहीं मृत्यु मोहरु तमे भी रक्षा पाइबो नहीं मु भी रक्षा पाइबे नहीं दुनिया रे कोनोसी लोक नहीं जे मृत्यु रक्षा पाइछि so समस्त ए डेस्टिनेशन को दिने ना दिने जीवा and that as it should be no one has ever escaped it and that is as it should be और ताहा हेबा भी उचित it clears out the old to make way for the new look it clears out the old मृत्यु कौन करे पिले मृत्यु कौन करे it clears out the old जार बयस है ताको नहीं जाए नुआ लोकों पई जगह सृष्टि करे पीढ़ी पर पीढ़ी आसे नहीं नहले पृथ्वी रे आज जदि केबे किए मरंते नहीं पृथ्वीर जनसंख्या जो रेट्रे रहंता वर्तमान आउ जगह न था कौटी सो इट क्लीयर्स आउट द ओल्ड पुराना सफा करे नुआ जगह तैयारी करे टू मेक स्पेस फॉर न्यू and is very likely the single best invention of life very likely जदि स्पष्ट भाव में कहवा इट इज द सिंगल बेस्ट इन्वेंशन ऑफ लाइफ जीवन सबुठार बड़ उद्भावन होचे मृत्यु इट इज द सिंगल बेस्ट इन्वेंशन ऑफ लाइफ जीवन सबुठार बड़ उद्भावन होची मृत्यु इट इज लाइफ चेंज इवेंट इट इज व्हाट इट इज डेथ इज व्हाट लाइफ चेंज इवेंट जीवन को परिवर्तन करिवार माध्यम जीवन को परिवर्तन करिवार माध्यम होची मृत्यु तमे जदि परिवर्तन चाह ए शरीर परिवर्तन चाह ताहले मृत्यु को स्वागत करिवा पई प्रस्तुत हो जीवन को परिवर्तन करिवार एकमात्र माध्यम होची मृत्यु लाइफ चेंज एजेंट इट क्लियर्स आउट the old to make new way for the new. Right now the new is you, and the right now the new is you. Whoever are watching, you are the new people, and I'm the old one. I'm gonna clear away a few decades after a few decades. Yes or no? So make way for the right now. You are the new, but someday, not too long. Someday, not too long. ଆଉ 4 5 7 8 10 50 60 तापरे तमर भी दिन आसीबो तमे भी चेंज हबो आ गोटे पीढ़ी आसीबो से पीढ़ी पाई तमे भी जीव ये सुनो किए रही ना किए ही रही ना रे ना मिछ मैया मही तले सर्वे निज निज अभिनय छाड़ी बहुड़े काल बड़े सो दिस इज द ट्रुथ ऑफ लाइफ यहीटा ही जीवन वास्तव सत्य प्रकृत सत्य सो बट someday not too long from now you will gradually become the old and be cleared away someday not more and you will gradually become old and you will be cleared away तमें भी बुढ़ा बुढ़ी हम तमें भी सफा ही जीव सॉरी टू बी सो ड्रामेटिक बट इट्स क्वाइट ट्रू सॉरी टू बी सो ड्रामेटिक बट इट इज क्वाइट ट्रू यह निराट सत्य ये सुनो यह हूँ निराट सत्य सो एंड क्लियर अवे सॉरी टू बी सो ड्रामेटिक बट इट्स क्वाइट ट्रू यह सत्य your time is limited you have a limited time समस्त पाखे गोटे लिमिटेड समय अच्छे गोटे निर्दिष्ट समय अच्छे टाइम स्पान इज फिक्स फॉर यू से टाइम स्पान भितर तुम जहाँ करवा कथा कर दियो so your time is limited so don't waste it living someone else's life so don't waste it living someone's life निज जीवन निजे निर्णय नियो निज जीवन को निजे केमती ठीक कर से ऊपर निर्णय नेबार अधिकार तुम केवल अच्छी अन्यर कथा मानी बंच ना अन्यर जीवन जापन कर ना अन्य निर्देश चल ना डोंट बी ट्रैप्ड बाय डगमा डोंट बी ट्रैप्ड बाय डगमा ब्लाइंड बिलीव्स अंधविश्वास वशवर्ती हो ना which is living with the result of other people's thinking and dogma means what लिविंग विथ अदर पीपल थिंकिंग अन्यर चिंताधारा को नहीं निजर जीवन को परिवर्तन करवा निजर जीवन बंचिवा दिस इज कॉल्ड डगमा मु जहाँ चाहूँगी तमें कौन चाहूच देयर इज डिफरेंस यस और नो सो अदर पीपल थिंक डोंट लेट द नॉइज ऑफ अदर्स ओपिनियन ड्राउन आउट योर ओन इनर वॉइस डोंट लेट अदर्स नॉइज अन्य लोकर शब्द को तमर स्वर को दबे दवाई व्यवहार कर नहीं ताको चांस ही दियो नहीं Don't let the noise of others' opinion अन्य मानकर मतामत रूपक स्वर को निज स्वर माने शुणिकी निज स्वर दबी जावाई दियो नहीं निजे से बशवर्ती हो नहीं ड्राउन आउट कहले बुड़ी जावार पिले ड्राउन आउट मीन्स टू सिंक बुड़ी जावा योर इनर वॉइस एंड मोस्ट इम्पोर्टाट सबुठार बड़ कथा है मोस्ट इम्पोर्टाट हैव द करेज टू फॉलो योर हार्ट एंड इंट्यूशन हैव द करेज टू follow your heart and intuition have the courage to don't let yes listen to your heart and intuition निज हृदय कथा शुण निज अंतरात्मार डाक शुण तुम विवेक को पचार व्हाट एवर यू आर डूइंग जहाँ भी काम करुच से काम करने पूर्व निज भीतर गोटे कनसेनसनेस अच्छी यस और नो आस्क योर कनसेनसस asks your conscience whether whatever you are doing, whatever you are going to do, it is right or wrong. तुम जहाँ करवा पे जाऊच सेटा ठीक ना भूल निजर आत्मा को पचार. तुम विवेक निश्चित भाव तुमको कह जे बाबू जो कम करने जाऊँ एटा भूल कम करने जाऊँ. मूर्ख मनीष जानी थाए से भूल करुचु बोली, तथापि से मूर्ख से भूल काम करे. कर सारा पर पश्चाताप कर किसी मूल्य ही नहीं. सो फॉलो योर हार्ट एंड इंट्यूशन. निज हृदय कथा को शुण, निज अंतरात्मार डाक को शुण. दे समहाउ ऑलरेडी नो व्हाट you truly want to become and your hearts know you, your intuition know you. तुम हृदय जानी तुम कौन होगा चाहूच, तुम अंतरात्मा जानी तुम कौन होगा चाहूच. Yes or no, everything else is secondary. Everything else is secondary. बाकी जहाँ भी जिनस रहा सबू secondary. So what is the primary sector then? Your heart is the primary sector. तुम हृदय हूँ तुम प्राथमिकता. तो तुम प्राथमिकता क्या दबा दरकार? तुम हृदय को दबा दरकार प्राथमिकता. ओके, व्हेन आई वाज यंग, मुझे बेले युवक थे, व्हेन आई वाज यंग देयर वाज एन अमेजिंग पब्लिकेशन कॉल्ड द होल अर्थ कैटलॉग. देयर वाज एन अमेजिंग पब्लिकेशन, गोटे प्रकाशक संस्था थिला, गोटे बहुत बढ़िया बही बाहरुला जार ना थिला द होल अर्थ कैटलॉग. कौन थिला? It was the whole earth catalog. So it was an amazing publication. It is called the whole earth catalog, which was one of the Bibles of my generation. Sei shamar Bible boli taku kodana karayutila. Bible it is a it is an eminent book of all time. Bible like that. The whole earth catalog was considered one of the best book of all time. It was the Bible of my generation. It was created by a fellow named Stewart Brand. And the creator of Whole Earth Catalog was Stewart Brand. Stewart Brand was the creator of Whole Earth Catalog. So who was the creator of Whole Earth Catalog? It was Stewart Brand. Stewart Brand. And from here, Brand, far from here in Mellow Park. Koti eta baharutula? Mellow Park. Mellow Park, a place in, just Mellow Park it is. Mellow Park. It is just in America. And Mellow Park, and he brought it to life with his poetic thoughts. He brought it to life. A whole earth catalog thela. It was a kind of Google at the time. It was written in poetic style. Kavita bhaliya lekha aitila. Verse re lekha aitila. Poet thoughts thi aitila. This was in the late 1960. Kow samayar katha? It was late 1960. 1960 ର ପରବର୍ତ୍ତୀ ସମୟ, ମାନେ 1960 ରୁ 70 ମସିହାର କଥା. In 1960, before personal computer and desktop publishing, ତ 1960 1970 ରୁ 80 ଦଶକ ଭିତରେ କମ୍ପ୍ୟୁଟର ଆଇଛି. So at that time no personal computer was there. Personal PC ନଥିଲା, desktop ନଥିଲା at that time. So what happened then? So it was all made with typewriter, scissor and Polaroid camera. It was all made with केमती तैयारी होइतिला? टाइपराइटर रो व्यवहार होइतिला, सीजर कोइची रो व्यवहार होइतिला, पोलराइड कैमरा रो व्यवहार होइतिला, ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट कैमरा रो व्यवहार होइतिला. It was sort of like Google in paperback form. At that time it was considered as Google in paperback form. सत्य कि से समय सेटा Google रो काम करथला. All the information was jot down, in a sequence that you can search any information whatever you want there. So Google in paperback form, 35 years before Google came along. 35 years, 1995 plus 95 पाखापाखि Google असला पिले मार्केट को. तो 35 years back before Google आसिबार 35 वर्ष पूर्व एटा पेपरबैक फॉर्म नथिला. Came along. It was idealistic, overflowing with neat tools and great notions. And it was with an idealistic approach. Everything was real and the informations were neat. प्रत्येक वास्तव चरित्र को चित्रण करा जाइतिला. वास्तव माने सूचना सब थिला आइडियलिस्टिक थिला गोटे आदर्श रे अनुप्राणित होइकि सेटा लेखा हिथिला ज्ञानर भरपूर भंडार थिला सेटा द होल अर्थ कैटलॉग विथ नीट टूल्स एंड ग्रेट नोशंस नीट टूल्स प्रत्येक जिनस जहाँ भी थिला इट वाज नीटली एडेड देयर great notions stewart and his team put out several issues of the whole earth catalog stewart and his team stewart abong tanga team kon kale they put out kale publish they put out several issues of the whole earth catalog a whole earth catalog ro bahut sara issue se mane publish kale and then when it had run its course means came to an end run its course कहले came to an end when it run its course जते बळे यार एक्चुअली सरी गला कोन टाइम सरी गला they put out a final issue put out कहले मु आगुरु कहि सारी put out कहले publish करबा they put out a final issue गोटे final issue से माने publish कले and was a photograph of an early morning road on the back cover of their final issue तांकर जो final issue थिला तार back cover कि भले थिला देखो it was okay final issue was a photograph of an early morning road what was there a photograph of an early morning road गोटे सकाळर माने गाँर सकाळ गाँव सकाळ होची आउ सकाळ बेला गाँव गोटे रास्तार दृश्य थिला सेठी अर्ली मॉर्निंग रोड द काइंड माने ए भलिया थिला द काइंड यू माइट फाइंड योरसेल्फ हिचकिचिंग ऑन इफ यू आर सो एडवेंचरस so it was such a type of road such a kind of road depicted there at the back cover that if you are the most adventurous people in the world पृथ्वीर सबुठ एडवेंचरस लोक भी से रास्ता रे जीवा पई माने संकुचित मने करिवो एभलिया रास्ता तैयारी करा हितिला एभलिया रास्तार चित्र थिला जे पृथ्वीर सबुठारो दुस्साहसी लोक भी से रास्ता रे जीवा पई निजकू माने डरी बसी and beneath it were the words तार तळे शब्द लेखा हितिला तार तळे कोन लेखा हितिला किछि शब्द लेखा हितिला कोन लेखा हितिला stay hungry stay foolish what was written there yes exactly the words were there stay hungry stay foolish will stay hungry stay foolish कहले कोन so knowledge is infinite and endless if you are thinking your knowledge is completed that means you are finished your progress is exactly what if you think you are completed you got everything your progress will stop there जदि तमे निजे भाबी नब जे तमर प्रगति बहुत हे गला तमर प्रगति होबो नाही प्रोग्रेस होबो नाही तमे जदि भाबिलो माने माने तमे संतुष्ट हे गला जे मु बहुत पाठ पढिलिनी तमर ज्ञान आउ बढ़िबो नाही so stay hungry stay foolish it was their farewell message at the sign off and it was their farewell message to the society समाज पई एटा थिला तंकर farewell message they are giving message stay hungry stay foolish and I have always wished that for myself and I have all wished that always for myself मो पई मो सबले एटा ही आशा करिछि wish that for myself and now एवं वर्तमान एज यू ग्रेजुएट टू बिगिन ए न्यू तुम नुआ ग्रेजुएट हाँपाई जाऊच एज यू ग्रेजुएट टू बिगिन ए न्यू आई विश दैट फॉर यू तुम मान भी से जिनस आशा करी स्टे हंग्री स्टे फुलिश नेवर बी कंटेंटेड कीप अचीविंग कीप परस्यूइंग स्टे हंग्री स्टे फुलिश सी यू टुमोरो बाय बाय थैंक यू पिले आसंता काली प्रश्न उत्तर यार सेशन दिन बेले केते बेले हबो किछि जानिनी मु दिन बेले जेते बेले टाइम पाइबी तार क्वेश्चन आंसर डिस्कस कर देबी आ काल राति रे यार सब एमसीक्यू हम डिस्कशन करबा ओके शिव